Hello, Carrots here. This is a brief tutorial on making dormer windows. The picture you can see, that's of a bonneted dormer, and it actually came with the Now and Then Century manor, which is available from the store. This particular dormer is purely decorative. All of the roof pieces are in the set. The only bit that I've added is the flat roof, which came with the game anyway. The yellow part, the yellow and grey that you can see going all around the outside of the roof, that is all part of the Now and Then Century manor, and there's other pieces as well. I've just used a few pieces to do a simple roof. Now the other dormers we're going to do in this tutorial are the gable, flat, hipped and shed dormers. So first of all, I'll show you a quick video of me placing the roof parts for the dormer windows you can see on the screen at the moment, and then I will show you me making the other four types of dormers. But this bonneted dormer is purely decorative. It doesn't even let any light. It's just there to make your house look good on the outside. The bonneted dormer pieces came with the Now and Then Century manor set, and it's available from the Sims 3 store. It's decorative only. There are more pieces than what I've used. I've used a few of the plain edge pieces, the corners, and the window. Now this window doesn't let any light in. It's just there to look at, to make your house look a bit different. I've arranged the windows and the roof pieces randomly on each side without paying particular care or attention because I didn't have any particular design in mind, and I've used the windows. There is a piece that's only 1 tile wide, but most of the pieces I used are 2 tiles wide. Now once you've got the entire edges of the roof there, to be able to put the flat roofing on, I found I needed to add a wall. Now once that wall is there, you can put the roofing on, but you see it's covered up that painted area that's part of the roof pieces. So if you want to keep that, once you've got the roof on, you can just go in and remove those walls. I left them there because I'm not sure if you've got seasons installed, you might need to have the walls there to make it weatherproof. I've never tested that. But as you see, there's no light going inside the room. For the rest of this video, I'll be using the roof types provided with build mode. We'll be using the gable, hipped and mansard roofs, as well as the tall gable and the flat roof. And you can see them all there, and I have put little arrows showing you which actual tools that I will be using from here on in the video. If you decide to put extra space or extra living space up in your roof area, depending on the pitch of the roof, you will need to put your walls, either 3 or 4 or some other number of tiles, in from the external walls of the building itself. In this case, I've put my little internal walls for my roof area 3 tiles in. Now if you put them too far out, well then the walls will poke up through your roof, and if you put them too far in, well then you'll be wasting space. So that is what I can do with this particular building by using the default pitch of the mansard roof, which is the roof I've chosen to use. Here's a tip. Now if you see this, when you put your mansard roof on, you know that you've put the walls too close to the edges of the main building, so you need to drag them in. In this case, I need to take them in 1 tile all the way around. I usually leave 3 or 4 tiles around the outside. In this case, I need to leave 3, but when I put the roof pieces on from the Now and Then Century manor, it only needed to use up 2 tiles. So that's why I ended up with just 2 tiles all around. Now I've got to try to make it just 3 tiles all around. And as you can see, I haven't put windows or doors in the house because I'm not going to save it. I've just put them in the front just for demonstration purposes, and so that the sim can actually get in, the tester sim, because you need a testing sim to make sure that sims are actually going to be able to use your building. So now I've got 3 tiles all around the edges. You can change the amount of tiles required there, the spare tiles around the edges, by changing the pitch of the roof. And those where I've got 3 tiles all the way around, that is the space that's going to be taken up by my dormer windows, regardless of what type of window I put in there. So this is the Gable dormer window, and this particular one has used up 3 tiles, and this second Gable dormer has used up 2 tiles. And here is how I made them. This is making the one with the 3 tiles. You decide how wide you want it to be and how much space you want between the windows. And now I always cover the top of the window with floor tiles. It just helps me keep it tidy. And then I will add the roof. You've got to choose between the gable roof or the tall gable. Now I've chosen the gable roof here because in this instance my roof is going to be longer than it is wide, and that gives me the gable ending. If the roof was from left to right a lot wider than it is deep, well then you would use the tall gable to get the gable end as you want it. Now if that particular window sticks out too far for you, you can just take it back a square or a tile and use 2 tiles for the width of the window, and it'll sit higher in the roof. You've got 1 less square of room inside for the sims to use, but it has a different look that might be the look that you would prefer. Of course, when you make it shorter like this, you can't use such tall windows. The windows I've used on the short windows I've used are from the Bauhaus set, which is a build set that's from the Sims 3 store. The windows on the right, the tall windows, they're the sun windows that came with the Celtic land set that was the extra you get when you buy the gold version of Dragon Valley World. There are several sets of windows and different other things that came with it, with that Celtic land set. It's showing you what I did in build mode, so you can see it's 2 tiles on the roof. There's 1 tile around the edge of the roof that wasn't used. So that means that the slope of the roof goes up a bit higher on the window itself, although you've still got the full wall height inside for your sim. You don't have the same amount of floor space. Just copied those white windows across so I wouldn't have to recolour them again. It was difficult finding a window that was short enough to fit into that new space. Now I'm still using a gable roof. Now see the 3x5? That's what you need to watch. The 3 is the width and the 5 was the depth, and I took it back to 6. It's important to have all of your gables that go back the same distance. So I had both of them were 3x6. I didn't make one 3x6 and one 3x5 or 3x7. And if it's the 3 by a larger number, you use gable if you want to get the pointy roof at the end. But if it's 3x2, for example, so the larger number comes first, well then you'll need to use the tall gable roof. Just to show you, this is the wide window at the other end of the building, and I will use the tall gable for this roof. Looks like the ordinary gable worked. The important thing to remember is you've got 2 versions of the gable roof, so use whichever one is going to give you the result you're looking for. Now this is another way of doing it. If you want the gables to be the same on each side of the building, you can do it all in one step, then just delete the walls that are inside the part of the building your sim's going to be living in after you've drawn it all. Just get rid of those walls on the inside, unless you want them there. Put the little flooring above the two that you're going to put roof over, but you can just drag it straight through. But what's important to also remember is that when you are doing a gable for just one side of the building, you need to make sure you stop it before it pokes out on the other side of the roof. See how that now pokes out on the other side of the roof? You don't want that effect. You just got to check on those sort of things. And that will be determined by the pitch. Now look at how that has the main roofs now below the top of this gable, the wide gable here. So I've now pulled that back up so they're in line. I'll delete that one that I did wrong. This time I'll take it all the way through. See how it does, however many squares you've got, it will flip around and change its shape. Now for the other one, I will use the tall gable and we'll get a different effect again. So that's another option with the gable. So just make it work however you want it to work. Play around with it. Now let's just do one more, and this time we'll have a really wide dormer that goes for the whole width of the building almost. And we'll do it at 3 because you know about making it just 2 tiles wide now or deep now. And just put a few windows along there. I found that I needed to have the tiles on top on the roof part of it. Now you see, for this one, because it is so wide, you can't use the ordinary gable. You've got to use the tall gable. It doesn't mean you've got to leave it tall, because you can use the tool to make it less steep, which is what I'm going to do now. So I used the tall gable tool to do the wide dormer window. You've got quite a nice sized room in there now with that one. It's still only 3 tiles wide, but you can extend it into the inside of the building a bit. I'll use those sun windows again. So that's it for the gable dormer. We'll now move on to other types. I've made them a little narrower. There's only 2 tiles wide because the roof stays the same width all the way back. You need to pull this back quite a way because you want the middle part of the roof to be in line with the roof behind it when you drag it down. Otherwise it looks a bit odd from the side view. And when you do have 2 of them on the same wall, you should always make sure you get them to be the same length, same measurement, number of tiles going backwards. I've used the tall gable for this particular dormer to do the shed dormer roof. So it's just a slightly different look from the gable dormer. From here on in, it's just the roofs that we're going to be doing different. Everything else will stay the same, and inside the house nothing will change. It'll just be the same space. I'm making sure I leave 2 tiles at the edge of the roof there, because with the shed dormer, the widest part of your roof just goes all of the way back, and I didn't want it poking out over the edge. Now, as you see, when I use the tall dormer, we get a gable end. Use the tall gable, we get a gable end. So I'm going to use the ordinary gable to make it into the shed dormer. Just try to get it in line with the other one so that it all looks neat and tidy. So that's the shed dormer. That's all there is to it. Let's have a quick peek inside. See how I'm making that room a little bit wider? I'd like it to be 4 tiles wide, not 3, which is what it is by only using up that space on the outside of the wall. Just add a spiral staircase. You can either use a spiral staircase or a straight staircase, it doesn't matter, whatever fits your building style that you want to have in this build. But I'm putting it in now so that my sim can run up the top steps and walk through those arches and we'll see if she can use it. There's just a couple more roof styles that I need to show you, which won't take long, but we'll just show that she can actually go through those arches and get into that room. The hipped dormer is quite straightforward. You just use the hipped roof and add it on as however you please until it looks how you like it to look. It's entirely up to you, your own preferences for your dormer roof on your dormer windows. The last one I'll show you is the flat dormer, which is just a flat roof. Apparently they usually put a bit of a slant on them, but we can't do that here without having it look like the shed dormer, so it's up to you. So thank you for watching, and that's it for my dormer windows tutorial. I hope you've enjoyed it and learnt something. So bye bye for now, and I will see you in another video. Happy simming.